Hey, everybody. I hope I'm not too muffled today. I had dental surgery, and I'm much too vain to allow you to see my swollen lip. So that's why I have on this cute gold mask tonight. And I'm waiting for my guest to arrive, and also we're trying to simulcast here on Clubhouse. So hopefully Dr. Steele will be here shortly. But I guess until he gets here, I'll say welcome to May. Man, May is a lot of things. For us, it's been some interesting weather, I'll say. But let's see, May is National ALS Month, Brain Tumor Awareness Month. Aha, okay. Fibromyalgia Month, and it was also May 1st was election day for a lot of local elections. So thank you for joining us again tonight. And once again, yes, I'm vain. I'm not going to let you see my swollen lip for my dental surgery. So you just have to talk about me, okay? And it looks like my guest has arrived, even though he tried to give me a heart attack. So I'm going to bring him on so he can so he can tell us a little bit about himself. Let's see, where are we here? Well, now this young man, hello, Dr. Ralph Steele.
Oh, hello, Miss Gloria Smith.
How are you?
Uh, I'm so I'm so busy. I don't know what to do.
Evidently, I said, okay, he wants to give me a heart attack. And excuse my mask, I'm talking extra loud. I had dental surgery and I'm too vain to show y'all my swollen lip, okay? So that's why I have half of a mask on. So how are you tonight? I see you're riding, so you're moving around.
Yeah, I was. Even though that, I just come out 2 meetings prior to coming here. So
Okay, well, we'll try to hold you all night if that's okay. So, as I think I told you when we talked before, the reason I do the show is to have all of you extraordinary people tell your extraordinary story. So tonight we're going to learn a little bit about you, and then one night we may have you come back and give all the financial counseling and everything, since you are in so many things. But I guess I always say first, you're an alpha brother, so that's a good thing.
that's right.
Do you happen to know Dale Long?
Yes, I do.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah,
Dale,
he's a good friend.
yes, I do know Dale, and Dale is a wonderful man.
Yes, he is. Oh, he'll be glad to hear you say that. So, Dr. Steele, where are you from? Where'd you go to school?
I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's how I know Dale. Dale is from Birmingham. Of course, I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana as well. But I went to school. Well, anyway, I went to undergraduate school in Nebraska for a bachelor's degree, and then I went to Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, for a master's degree, and then I got a PhD doctorate degree from Oxford University in England.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask about Nebraska first, because I know one person from Nebraska that's of color. How did you get there?
Money will pay for plane tickets and a land on the runway tarp quite easy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Academic athletic scholarship.
Okay. What did you play?
I played baseball.
Oh, okay. So you didn't choose to go there after college?
No, I actually got another scholarship to Vanderbilt University, which was a really, really good school. So I really just chose that.
And what did you study at Vanderbilt?
I got a psychology degree.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now all of the things you're doing is making sense. So now how does one get into Oxford, England?
Well, you go to sleep after you finish passing your test, and when you wake up, they invite you in to the inn, and so they give you a certain amount of money, and so I ended up same different getting some money and got fortunate and got accepted there, and it was probably one of the most amazing things that I could have ever done.
Okay. Okay. So you did you ever have thoughts of staying there?
I did. I did because it's a really wonderful place. It's peaceful. It's safe. I mean, it just. I mean, the community there has so much great things going on. The people are very kind, and but I didn't stay. But I did have thoughts.
Mm, okay. Okay. So being from Alabama, you didn't did you go back to Alabama at all?
No, I didn't go. I didn't go back to Alabama after that. I kind of moved into, as I said, Louisiana, and then to Texas.
Okay. And how are you an official Texan? How long have you been here?
Oh, I've been here for because see, I came to Texas actually before I went to Oxford. So I came to Texas and actually in '95 I left, and then I came back to Texas in 2002, um, and then been here ever since.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess I can say you're official. I'm Texas born, bred, and raised. So, we gotta check y'all out and vet y'all to make sure you're totally Texas.
Yeah, and I've been here quite a bit. 2000, I came here as a professor and just have never left.
Oh, okay. Where'd you teach?
I taught at Jarvis Christian College, Texas Southern University, and then of course uh, Richland Community College, which is in Dallas, and University of Texas at Arlington.
Okay. Are you still teaching now or
No, no, I'm not teaching now.
you're not teaching now? Okay. Okay. Now, family, what about family? You leave all your family in Alabama or?
I got family everywhere. I got a rich sister in New York, a CPA sister in Michigan, an older brother in Arkansas, and another brother in D.C., and the rest of them in Alabama and Louisiana.
Okay. Did you say a rich sister in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's like that. She has that title, huh?
Right.
Okay. So now, when you look at all the descriptions that you have, let's see, besides the alpha man, arbitrator, mediator, those could be in kind of in the same way. Professor, but no, the one that's interesting is the official for the women's professional basketball. How did that happen?
Well, I well, see, here's the thing. I actually played college basketball for 2 years,
Okay.
even though I'm not a tall man. So rather than continue to play with 6 foot 9, 10, 7 foot guys, I went ahead and while I was in college, learned how to officiate the games. And so as a result of that, I started officiating while I was in college and just continued on and did high school, did college, and then by the grace of God, I ended up now doing professional women basketball, and I really, gosh, I just enjoy it. I love it.
You have to be in great shape to do that, right?
Yeah, you better be in great otherwise you will have a serious problem that you might not be able to take care of.
Wow. So do you travel doing that or you just now that we have the WNBA here, you just do it here in Dallas or do you travel to do it?
So I traveled some too because I did one of the and what is it? I'm trying to think. In 2019, they had the professional women had a game in Shreveport, Louisiana, against a professional women team in Mexico, and
Mm.
I drove all the way to Shreveport, Louisiana, 3.5 hours, and did the game. And I tell you, it was one of the best things I could have ever done because is international, and they got about 20 cameras in there. The gym was packed, and I mean, and so it's amazing. And right now, I'm the supervisor of officials, so I supervise officials all the way from Shreveport to Dallas to Houston to Austin to San Antonio to El Paso. Uh, so I'm enjoying it.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Now, have you done anything to encourage the young people to get involved in that?
Yes, I do, and in fact, I just come back from Tampa, Florida. We had a big combine down in Tampa, Florida, and we had several young people who coming through the ranks, and in years to come, 10, 20 years from now, they will still be doing it because they're quite young. In fact, one of the guys and young ladies as well. So, yeah, so I definitely believe in mentoring young people and bringing them up so they have opportunities as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and that sounds like a good one. And they get to stay in shape in the meantime.
Correct.
So now that's it's an unusual. Were there any obstacles that you went through in getting into that?
Well, yeah, they. I mean, there are because people. Nobody just said, "Hey, come on here and get your whistle and put your uniform on," and you have to go. You have to have done it for some years, and you have to
Hmm.
have people who have seen you officiate, and
Hmm.
the people who select you, they have seen you officiate. And so, I mean, whether it's been college or high school, and say I've done college ball, done high school. So I was seen by the right people at the right time.
Mm.
And they
Okay.
say, oh, and then, and one of the great obstacles is being able to manage, what I mean, whether you're high school or college and now professional, being able to manage, Miss Smith, coaches and even difficult players.
Mm.
And, and
Mm.
and sometimes even difficult fans. And so you have to be able to manage people. And when I say that, I mean that in a nice way. You manage them and you help them to understand the game, whereas you're not their enemy, but you're part. In other words, what I do when I'm officiating, I help the fans, the parents, the players, and the coaches feel like we all on the same team.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even though obviously somebody still has to win that game.
Right. That's interesting. I never thought about that part of officiating. That's all. That's conflict resolution on the spot almost, huh?
Actually, that's really what it is, and that's what has helped. That's what actually helped me a lot because I know how to manage people and de-escalate conflict, lickety split, and like you say, on the spot. Plus, I don't feel like I don't, I don't in my mind feel like I have a need to argue with people anyway because there is no gain from that.
Mhm.
I mean, what do anybody get from arguing with somebody besides nothing?
Mhm.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You know,
Hmm.
I find and have a joy in being able, like for instance, a coach comes up to me and say, "Well, uh, coach," he said, "Mr. Fisher, I have a question for you." No problem.
Mhm.
Let
Mhm.
let's come together and resolve this matter together, rather than blowing a technical foul on them and trying to throw them out the game. That's not what we get paid to do.
Hmm. Now, have you written up any proposals for some of the police departments?
Uh, oh boy, oh boy.
If you haven't, that's a good suggestion.
Let me
Um.
be like this here. I have written proposals and submitted them, and I won't call any police department name, and
Mhm.
I'll leave it like that.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I've
Sam,
I've
look,
submitted it to at least 10 police departments,
really.
at least 10, and not one of them have taken it on. Now,
Wow.
and I won't call any name.
Yeah, that well, I'm sure local is real.
Yeah,
So one of my
and
brothers retired from there,
and
and
right,
so Yeah, I'm sure.
And here's what I can say to you though, and I will give a lot of the corporate companies their kudos. I won't mention any name, but I have had uh, a lot of corporate America companies in the Dallas and around the country that call me and say, "We need you to come in, and here's the problem. Now, what can you do about it?"
Mm-hmm.
And so, and one of the federal agencies right here in DFW, I was called me years ago. That was, gosh, probably 15 years ago, and I had to go in, and I've had several of the large companies right here in Dallas, Texas. I mean, literally, I never even knew anything about them. I've gone in and did some work, and I don't say it. I'm humble, but it has been impactful because I love to see people come together and get along and resolve matters with everybody. You know what I mean? Even if everybody don't get what they want, but at least they can live with the situation.
Right. A win-win for the most part.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's interesting because it seems like now would be a prime time for them to be looking you up. And because I just never thought of that because you really have, that they might not be as deadly or whatever as theirs, but you have a real life experience when you're officiating and have to do those things on the spot. That's the type of de-escalation training they need. I mean, just
I
period.
agree. I totally agree with you. And I have a joke says, "Shall I call 119 or shall I call 911? Which one do you want me to call?"
Yeah, I get that. So that's how you, and one of your titles is arbitrator mediator. So are you a part of like the national mediators? Or mediators? What is it? It's something because I thought about it at one time. I can't think, but it's a national organization of mediators and that's what you do. Do they call you for the court for court cases when they don't want to go to
Well,
court?
yeah, I'm on the federal. I do federal mediations all over the United States. Arbitration cases, same difference. Um, and so I get called by companies, the federal government included, and I've done federal mediations, including the federal district, what you would call the U.S. District Court, or
Mhm.
also even the federal appeals court, and and the just the federal government in general. I mean, I've done some cases. I mean, all over the United States, for that matter, and arbitration cases as well. And because arbitrate is kind of similar to a judge, if you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So I've done a lot of stuff like that, and those are not easy. Those are tough. Those kind of things they're tough cases, both mediation and arbitration.
Yeah, yeah. And I know a lot of the unions use arbitration when they and companies are trying to do things. And I'm sure I've sat on the one side or the other of those, so I know those are very interesting
Right.
when unions are arbitrating with the company.
Correct.
Okay. So for those of you who are listening, I'm talking with Dr. Ralph Steele, and forgive me with my gold mask, but I had dental surgery and I'm too vain for y'all to see my swollen lip. Okay. Next week it'll be all right, hopefully. But it's very interesting because we talked about some of the things that he's done, but I'm finding most intriguing his officiating for Women's Professional Basketball League because it's bringing in all of these other uh, I say life skills or things that we are in desperate need of um, in this day and time. And I had never thought about an official being a de-escalation expert, as he talked about having to resolve conflict on the court, whether it's with the fans, the parents, the coaches, or the players. And that's something that he does on the second, on a split second. And so we were just talking about how this could be effective in this day and time with the police department, since we're having such a problem with them de-escalating on purpose or not things that are going on. And he's talked about some of the major companies, and he's arbitrated and mediated and on the federal level. So it's just a very interesting conversation that, I never thought about a person being an official. You going dark, Mister. I can't hardly see you, Dr. Steele, but okay, I know you're in the car. But so now the business you have, I saw there are two businesses. Let's see, do we want to do Wealth Legacy Television or do we want to show them the Wealth Think Tank? Which one you want to tell us about first?
Well, the Wealth Legacy television is really kind of a television radio, because I do a radio show out of Holly Springs, Mississippi, um, uh, called it's called the Money Show, and
Mm,
on WKRA 92.7 FM, which covers Holly Springs, Mississippi, but it also covers Memphis, Tennessee. And so, in conjunction with that, I have what's through the network out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, called Exposure Network Television. And so
mm,
I do again. I do shows um, on those shows are done, and everything I do in terms of radio and television is related to um, financial freedom, because
mhm,
for me, I don't know about anybody else, but Miss Gloria Smith, for me, one of the central problems exists, particularly in the African American community. As far as I'm concerned, the number one problem is the issue of I believe that African American people need more money, more money, more money, and more money, and more money. And I believe that what I'm saying by that, I'm not talking about money is everything. I'm talking about how money helps any culture or any group of people, any man, any woman, any family, regardless of who you are, how it gives people and helps people to live a quality of life.
mhm,
And so my position is I do a lot of financial literacy and educating people on how to be wealthy and how to be financially free, and also develop generational wealth for their children and their grandchildren. And I think that everybody needs that. And I believe that this is my motto: wealth is a human right.
mm,
Everybody has a right to be wealthy. I'm not against people being rich. If somebody's rich, God bless them. I'm happy for them. But I also believe that those people who live on the fringes of life and barely making it, they have a right to be wealthy and to live
mhm,
happy as well, and have enough money to pay their rent, mortgage, or whatever they need to do, their travel, their leisure, their vacation, whatever they want to do. They
right.
have a right to do that. So that's where my heart is.
Mm. Yeah, and the thing that you said that makes the most sense is having it is one thing, but having an education and literacy about it is another thing, because we can have it and not, lose it just as quickly as we have it if we're not doing the things necessary to take care of that and to maintain that.
Right. So I use the television broadcast as well as radio to, again, those are media tools I use to develop shows so that people can learn, and you correct, the literacy, as well as being able to, because here's the question. I've run across in my life a lot of people who have had money, but they
Hmm.
don't know how to keep it.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
other words, what I mean is they didn't know how to manage it properly. And so they made $200,000. In less than a year, that money is gone.
Hmm.
Whereas somebody who has the literacy, they can take $200,000, and for the end of the year, it becomes 250, or within 5 or 10 years, it becomes $400,000.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
so and now they have money that they can use effectively and impact their life for lifetime.
But don't you think that we have to start earlier? Because I mean, quite frankly, I learned later in life. I didn't learn growing up, those things. And that's, I don't know if I blame it on the community. My mom was a single parent. And the one money thing I did learn from her, she used to stack her dimes up on the side of the bed. She was a domestic. So I learned to tithe. So that's the one financial principle I did learn from her. And it has kept me through this time. But there are it wasn't until I got my master's that I really had taken a course on economics. And I was like, man, this should be taught in junior high.
It really should.
It was things that I knew, but I didn't realize what I knew, if that makes sense. And I'm like, this should be taught at a much younger age than, I have to take it because I'm getting a master's.
Yeah, well, you're correct, because if you look at it for what it's worth, watch this. The younger a person invests, the better is in combined with the number of years and the longevity, the compound interest. If they invest, in other words, is what does people need to do? The number one thing everybody needs to do is to pay themselves first.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot pay yourself without investing money. You can't, listen, you can't pay yourself putting money in between your mattress or your pillows. It doesn't work like that. You're actually losing money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I tell people, is the other issue, which goes back to literacy. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to invest because I'm going to lose my money. Well, what they didn't know, Miss Smith, is this. There are investments out here that you can put. If you had $100 million, you won't lose 1 cent.
Mm-hmm.
If you had $1,000, you won't lose 1 cent. But everybody don't understand that, because they don't understand how money works.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there are some investments tools out here that if a man or a woman, let's say somebody have quickly $50,000, and they take that $50,000 and put it in what we call an income for life annuity.
Mm-mm.
Well, that annuity is going to become 50.
He froze me.
Pardon me?
Well, until he comes back, that's one of the things that I've just been learning in this new occupation that I'm going into, is about investing. I don't know if it's my internet connection, because we're in a storm, so we're just gonna work it out. But a savings account is the second worst place besides putting it under the mattress. Okay, you're back with us.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can. I don't know if it's the weather's bad, so I know.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. But you were saying if somebody has 50,000, they can invest it in a. I thought I knew.
It's an income for life annuity, and what that means is it will turn to 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't. Here's the catch to it, Miss Smith. You don't lose any
money. Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah.
And so today people want to know that if they invest their money, they won't lose their money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that can be a horrible experience to work hard, sweat, blood, and tears, and work all them years, and now you take whatever money you have up into the millions and you put it. Because I know people who've lost $1 and $2 and $5 and $10 million because they put it in the wrong thing.
That's
that's kind of. But anyway, so I use the television and the radio as a way of educating and helping provide the proper advice and if you will, planning, so that people can plan themselves and execute themselves to becoming a person of wealth.
Okay. And people can see your show by going to this website, the wealthlegacytelevision.com?
No, it's on Exposure Network Television.
Exposure Network Television. Okay. I'll put that up.
Yeah, either they can go to, for the radio show, they can go to WKRA 92.7 in Holly Springs, Mississippi.
Okay. Now, the other thing, what is the wealththinktank.org? What is that about?
The wealththinktank.org is an organization. That's the website, but it's basically an organization that helps people two things. Well, actually three things, but three things. Number one, it helps people who have dreams and goals to own businesses, but they have fears and they have no idea how to start a business, or as you would say, a business startup. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. Two is what it does. It also helps people guide them through what we call business expansion. So once you once you start and own a business, the business must grow, because what's the purpose of us going into business? To make profits. So
Mm-hmm.
in order to make profits, a person, an owner, a business owner, an entrepreneur have to continuously expand their business so their profits are continuously, consistently going up. They're
Mm-hmm.
making more money, and and the business is beneficial to them. The business add value to who they are, and they add value to the business. And of course, if they have employees, you can add value to people who work for you as well. So the third thing the Wealth Think Tank does is it helps again teach people how, if you have money, how to manage their money so that they don't have to live from paycheck to paycheck and rob Peter to pay Paul. Because it's time for people. Listen, many people are not in the 1%, but you know what? You don't have to be 1% to have money and live happy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
you can still take your money and live happy and live a great life.
I have a question about that, but somebody from the audience had a question. They said, at what age should annuities be purchased, and when does it mature, or when can you start using the funds? I guess using the funds without penalty.
Okay, it depends on what type of annuity they're talking about. If they're talking about a young child, let's say if somebody has children, and and
Mm,
and and Miss Smith, this is one of the great things that I don't catch with people. Anybody that has a 1, 2 year old child, that's the best time to buy an index universal life annuity for
mm,
that child. Now, or grandchildren. There's some grandmothers and grandfathers out here that they ought to be investing in their grandchildren.
mm,
You can actually get an annuity for a child 2 or 3 years old, $40, $50. And after 10 years, now notice what I'm saying. After 10 years, all of the cash value that is built up in it is tax free.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't beat that.
You said after 10 years.
After 10 years, the money in that annuity for that child is tax free.
Okay.
Even a young college student could get one of those, because the young the the younger you are, the less cost and the more chance you have to increase the amount of money in cash value, and just basically have a pot of gold. You're
Yeah.
talking about having money that you can use, not just years ago, but even in recent times. Now, there's another type of annuity for people who are 45 years old or older. And of course, most of the time, you have to have a minimum of $10,000 to even invest
Mm-hmm.
in it. But you can take a 401k, like if somebody quit a job or get laid off, or they have a 401k, and you can roll over your 401k into the
Mm-hmm.
annuity 10, you know what I mean, for life. And let's say somebody has $300,000 and they roll over their 401k. That 401k, $300,000 will become 600,000, and then they'll get a check the rest of their life. And then they can actually, after 10 years, they can actually start using that money. But prior to 10 years, they can actually have access to 10% of it before the 10 years.
And that 10% is tax free, right? Or
No, the 10% is not tax free.
the 10%? Okay, okay,
That's on the other one.
okay, okay. Now, when you talked about the index universal life amount, you know, for the child, and after 10 years you can use the cash. Can't you use the cash to invest in another annuity or something that would hold that money or protect that money?
Yeah, you can, and not, but you really
As
have.
opposed to just cashing it out and using it to buy something, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you can take. Listen, after 10 years, you could take it to 20 years. You could. I mean, take a young child 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I could literally have that annuity for 30, 40 years, and then after the second or third year, you can. Let's say you was putting $50 in there a month. You can actually end up putting 200, 100, 200, 500. You can put more money in it. In other words, overfund it. And so
Mm-hmm.
now that annuity will grow because you're looking at about 7 to 10%, if you will, interest rate on it, and you're gonna make some money then.
Mm, mm. Okay, I think that answered her question. The one of the questions I wanted to ask about the business, what do you think is the one of the biggest mistakes new business owners make, especially us?
Uh, I like the way you put that other part.
Well, I mean, I just had to put it.
Well,
That's what I'm concerned about.
well, you being real. That's what you are being real and genuine, and that's integrity too, though. Well, here's the thing. A lot of reasons. One of the biggest things we don't do, Gloria, is we don't have a business plan.
Mm,
We don't have, and here's the thing: a person don't have to have a 20 or 30-page business plan. You can have a very detailed, very specific, to the point business plan for about 5 to 7 pages. So you
mm,
know where you're starting at, but guess what? You know where you're going.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Uh, so the business plan. Now watch this though. Part of the business plan is also having, as part of your business growth, a marketing plan,
mm.
because you can't, if don't nobody know you in business, how you gonna stay in business?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, here's the other part about a business. Two things. One is most people, when they start a business, and especially us, is they don't have part of the business plan. Also, what we call financial projections. In other
Mm,
words, what are you gonna make? How much money do you estimate you're gonna make within the first 3 years? How much money do you project to make the first by the first in the first 5 to 7 years?
mm-hmm.
All right. Here's the other part of that question. A lot of us don't understand. Two heads is always better than one. $2 is more than $1. You get what I'm saying? And in other words, if you look at corporate America today,
Mm-hmm.
most people who own corporate American company is never one person. It's always what? Two
Yeah.
to three to
Mm-hmm.
four people. In other words, here's what I'm really trying to say. Unless us don't learn that some at some point we have to partner with people.
Partner. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if here's what's the real point. The more you partner and help other folks, most people don't understand that you are really helping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
I've been in business 25 years, Miss Smith. The only one of the main reasons why I'm still in business is not because I'm smarter than everybody else. It's not
Mm-hmm.
because I got more money than everybody else. is because I got common decency and common sense that I'm partnered with about 10 people. And in my partnership and with people who are trustworthy and who
Mm.
have integrity, guess what? We all are making money together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in other words, you have to trust somebody.
Somebody. Hmm.
I mean, I don't get me wrong, Miss Smith. I know that there's some people you can't trust and I can't either. There's people who are still know that. But everybody that live in this America ain't like it's not like that. There's
Right.
there's
Correct. Right.
still some good people out here that if you leave, in fact, I'm one of them. If Miss Smith, if you left that $1 million that I know you have, and you came back to my office, it's gonna still be there.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I hope it will, and you give it to me when I come back. Okay. uh, yeah. You make sure you give it to me. I have another question. If you put money in your savings, is he saying it's better to put it in an annuity? I'll answer that. Yes.
Yeah, because a savings account only gives you about 0.085 interest. Well, annuity could give you anywhere from 4 to 10%, depending on what type of annuity it is.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, annuity, you're going to make money. Now, you still have to be careful what type of annuity, because you have some annuity you put in, the tax is going to eat you up. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful that you put it in the type of annuities that you don't get taxed. You know what I mean? All your money is not taxed. So you have to look at, a lot of times people don't understand. You either look at tax deferment or tax deduction
Mm-hmm.
or tax free.
Okay, if you're talking about somebody who's 70 years old, what type of annuity would you tell them to put?
Well, if they're 70 years old, and then it goes back to this here, uh, how
Mm-mm, you got
how healthy
those
can
out
you
of here. Good grief. Come on. Okay,
uh,
now we're back. If they're
all right?
70 years old.
If they're 70 years old, is it depends on how healthy they are. It depends on how money they have, how much money they have. Excuse me, and then what is their goal? What is their purpose? What's the purpose of what are they trying to do? Are they trying to increase their income? Are they trying to protect? In other words, are they trying to preserve their money, protect their money, or increase their income? You understand what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
Got to look at those questions before, you know what I mean. So if they're trying to, if they're in good health, and the other issue is how much money do they need right now? Are
Mhm.
they in need of money? Or now, if or are they living okay and healthy? In other words, is
Yeah.
there are people that need the money that they invest in. They need that right now. There are
Hmm.
people who can who can afford to put away 2 and 3 and 4 and 500 or $1,000 a month, or two.
Hmm.
Some of them can even put away 2,000 or more. So
Yeah.
it depends on what type of financial and economic situation they're in. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if they are in a crunch,
Mm-hmm.
if they're in a because the index universal life annuity is not the type of annuity that I would put a 70-year-old man
Oh
in.
no. Oh no. No. Right. Yeah.
Now, the if they're in a crunch and they need some money, then we'll put them in what we call a fixed annuity.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you can go 5 to 7 years, and then you can have access to your money.
Mm-hmm.
But now let me roll it back again. If they're in good health and they don't really need any money, but they have money and they're 70 years old, then I would put them in an annuity 10, which is the income for life annuity, because if they put that money in there in 10 years, but they still gonna have some access to it, and they have more money, because some people live longer than other people too. In today's world, Miss Smith, some 70-year-olds really are 60.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
You see, but now you also got some people 70 are already 80 or 90. So it depends on what type of help, what are their needs, because I don't just put people money away. What I do is I look at, we do what is called a financial assessment. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what are your needs right now? What are your needs for your short-term financial goals, and what are your needs for your long-term financial goals?
Okay.
And a lot of times people don't even think about that kind of, they just put it, look, let me just do this here. No, you need what are your needs are, what are your financial goals are, and where you want to be 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah. Well, this particular one says she wants to just preserve the money for her kids. So if anything ever happens, so it's not something she needs right now. She just wants it to be protected in there.
Oh, I can tell you automatically where her money was. That's an easy answer. I would take her money and put it in an income for life annuity, and she would never lose 1 cent. In fact, whatever amount she put in, of course, I'm assuming is more than $10,000, it's gonna double. And the money would double. And let's say hypothetically she used some of it. Any money that she have left, she can put her children or grandchildren or whoever she want to put as a beneficiary. It'll go directly to them if she were to pass.
Okay.
So, and
good
even if she's continued to live another 10, 20 years, she still could take some of that money out and still pass it to her children or grandchildren.
Okay. One last question, because I know you got to go and it's getting ready to hit on that hour.
Right.
What's better, CD or an annuity?
Let me just tell you like this here in a nice way.
Somebody's asked this, so
I understand. CDs don't give, you can't make any money with a CD. Anybody that listens to my voice, if you have a CD, you are losing money. If you take listen, you can hold up 2 fingers and pay a CD before you before you drink a glass of water. A CD, you just losing money. What this person needs is an annuity, and again, it depends on how much money they have. But the annuity, you're talking about an annuity would make 10 times, in some cases 20 times more money than a CD.
Okay, so what do they use CDs for? Just to get your money?
Listen, I make a disclaimer. I can't mention nothing about no institution.
Okay.
Now I know you know that, and that's one of the things that I don't do. And I'm on radio, TV, and people would tell.
I understand.
Dr. Steele don't say nothing negative about nobody. But what Dr. Steele will tell you this: if you got your money in a CD, you're probably losing money at a rate that when the rain is storming so hard that you don't know which direction it's coming from. Take that money out and put it in an annuity, and you can call me at 817-729-0543, and I will help you make more money so you will be wealthier.
Okay, give us that number again so I can put it in the comments.
It's 817-729-0543.
0543.
817 729 0543.
Okay. I think I got it right.
because I want to see whoever it is make more money. I believe the happy, listen, Miss Smith, the happiest person is somebody who's helping somebody else make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
when I see people making more money, that makes me happy. I don't want to be the only person making money. I want to see John, Mary, Sally, Sue, Miss Gloria Smith, Miss Gloria Smith Cheer. I want to see all of y'all make more money. I want to see the world happy, and you cannot be happy broke.
Right, right. And with that, we're gonna make that your last sentence. We cannot be happy broke. Dr. Steele, I want to thank you. This has been very informative. Look, we may have to get you on again for more question and answers one day when you're not too busy, but hopefully everyone will go to your show. One of the things I do for all my guests, I got to pray for you before I get off, and then I'll tell you about next week. And after I go out live, if you would hold on just a second, because I want to talk to you off camera for just a second, okay?
All righty.
Father God, I just thank you for this day, God. We never know what you're going to do in these situations, but God, we thank you for powerful, powerful, powerful information. And we thank you for the authenticity and the integrity that has been given with. God, we just ask that you bless Dr. Steele as he continues to bless others. May he just continue to enhance people's lives in the area of financial literacy. And as we talked about the de-escalation, Lord, open up doors, God. You know what's needed right now, and you know it's needed right now, Father. And timing is everything. So, God, we just pray for his efforts. We thank you for him giving us this time. We know it's worth much, much more than we could ever pay him. And so we just thank you for him giving this time to our audience. And we pray that people are blessed and that they're given information that they can use. And we give this all to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I want to thank everybody for being here, even with my mask. And I need y'all to come back next week because we're going to have Linda Husser. I know you haven't heard of her, but she's the founder of Bodacious Black Women Over 50. So if you know any bodacious Black women over 50 who are having a problem being happy with themselves being over 50, you need to have them tune into next week. So with everything that I always say, I love y'all to death. I appreciate you for being here. Dr. Steele, thank you. And we'll see you next week. And keep your peace, everybody, okay?
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.